Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us. My name is April Carter. I am with Tennessee Nonprofit Network, and I am so excited about the conversation we are about to have. If you've been watching your email, you know that we have something exciting coming up on April the 18th in the great city of Chattanooga, the Talent and Culture Summit, the Nonprofit Talent and Culture Summit. Now you may be thinking, talent, is this about singing or arts and crafts or dancing? But it is not. When we talk about talent, we are talking about the incredible people doing the work at your organization and the skills and development they need to do that. And we talk about culture, we're talking about the environment in which they are pulling off this incredible work. And so we have some amazing speakers coming in, and we are talking to one today. We're talking with Terran Anderson. She is with United Way of Greater Chattanooga, and she is going to bring a very, very relevant topic to us today. Hi, Terran. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, April. Thanks for having me.
So what made you want to present at the Nonprofit Talent and Culture Summit this year for 2024?
When I think about my career in nonprofits and, just thinking about the last decade, even pre-pandemic, a lot of us were going into the pandemic, burnout, stretched a little thin, exhausted, and even if we loved the work, just challenged, right? And in some cases, just under-resourced. And so as we, went through the pandemic and a lot of us kind of muscled through, we've sort of come out on the other side, and many people in our field and industry have just simply walked away. And quite honestly, I was one of those people. I thought I was walking away in March of 2022. I was tired. I had sat in a lot of seats and I didn't know what was next, but I knew I didn't want to do the work that I had been doing for any longer, for my own mental health, for my family's health. And it didn't take long for a trusted mentor to come to me and say, hey, you're going to go talk to the United Way. And I kind of went kicking and screaming at first because I was convinced I was not going to another nonprofit. It wasn't anything against the United Way. I just thought that wasn't the door for me. And lo and behold, I was reminded going through the process of talking to them about the beauty of being part of community work and how fulfilling it can be. And so I looked up and realized I was back at a nonprofit again, but I wanted it to be different. I wanted it to be different for myself. And I knew I also wanted to be a different type of leader. And I knew that nonprofits could be different, right? And so, I didn't really communicate that out loud too terribly much to many people. But around that same time, our CEO, Leslie Scarce, kind of had this vision of how we could better serve communities and work together with our corporate partners, really uniting what we did with our corporate partners around fundraising, but also making them aware of the needs of the people that were inside their building, the community we were serving. And so my personal passion that, again, I really hadn't talked to many people about making our workplaces different and making my personal workplace different, kind of aligned really closely with that work. And I think that it is important for our corporate friends, but I also think it's important that our nonprofit friends take some of these things to heart as well.
Terran, I relate to that so much. There have been at least 3 times in my career where I was absolutely done. And it's always someone else within the sector that has gone through some similar issues that comes, taps you on your shoulder and say, hey, take a second look. The second look is always so important, so meaningful for us. And now your role as president of community and corporate engagement. So you understand like the community side, the nonprofit side, but you're also engaging with the corporate sector. So the title of your session we see is United for Working Families, How Nonprofits Can Compete in a Changing Workforce. Tell us more about that.
I think at United Way, when we think about our staff, there's sort of that thing in the back of our mind that we know that at the end of the day, there's probably someone down the road who could pay, whether it's our marketing staff or our fundraising team. They have a lot of skills that could translate to sales, right? And everybody's always looking for great salespeople. Thinking about our philanthropy folks, the people who really know how to have those high level donor conversations. I mean, that demands a emotional intelligence that they could go and thrive in just about any role, right? our volunteerism folks, they're phenomenal connectors. And so I know when I look at my team, any one of them could be snatched up by not just another nonprofit, but the for-profit sector tomorrow. And that they can offer some things that, quite frankly, we just can't offer in the nonprofit world. And so I am adamant and passionate, and luckily, the rest of our executive leadership team and our HR workforce at United Way are passionate about retaining people with some of the benefits that maybe don't cost as much money, but that are invaluable to the people that work around us.
Terran, that is incredible. So it sounds like this workshop would be beneficial to anyone from the HR professional to executive directors to someone within the program, within the organization running programs. So what does the typical person look like that's coming through your session, trying to gain some kind of knowledge and support? What does that look like for them?
So April, I think you're absolutely right. I think that a CEO or an executive or an HR person could find a lot of benefit in this. But what we're seeing in the corporate world is that a lot of people who just become spokespeople for their people, maybe not HR may not be their role, but the people who have they're brave and they're just willing to speak up, that they may be in finance. They may be in the sales sector. It doesn't matter what area they in. I'll say the same thing for our nonprofit friends. You may be a development professional, but if you get excited enough and fired up enough about family-friendly policies at work, that may be just what your CEO needs to hear. Maybe they're not in that session with you. But I do think, as we have a lot of trust that has to happen within our nonprofit workplaces. And if that CEO trusts you or that HR professional trusts you and you're just passionate, or maybe you're where I was last March. You're a little tired, you're a little burnout, it can be different. You're passionate about your work, but the work itself can be different. I would say just about anybody could probably learn a thing or two and take it back to their workplaces. We're not advocating that everybody does all the things. It's impossible to do all of the things.
Yes.
But we do think that each individual workplace, whether you're 3 people in a building or you're 300 people in a nonprofit across the state or regional or national, there are some things that I think everybody can really just take some time and reflect on and decide, which of these pieces can we implement to make our people happier and healthier.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, so Taryn, I have one final question. And you may say, now, how does this tie into talent and culture? But we like to know who's in our space, who are we sharing a space with, and know that they are real people. So for an incredible culture for you, if you had to choose one of these things, which one would you choose? Great food with coworkers, great music with coworkers, binge watch a TV series, or read a good book?
Oh gosh, those all sound amazing to me. The nice thing is that I can think of at least one instance of where I've gotten to do some version of that with my team. And so that makes me really happy. I don't think I've
Incredible.
not missed any of those, but I'm a foodie at heart. It is really hard for me to turn down good food. My team enjoys good food. And so it's always more fun when the people around you appreciate it too. So absolutely good food.
Yes, the culture and good food go hand in hand. I am 100% with you. Our team loves to center around good food, whether it's conflict management, team building, good food is usually at the center. And so thank you so much for joining us today. Taryn, we look forward to seeing you on April 18th. Registration is open for the Nonprofit Talent and Culture Summit on April 18th. Be sure to register right away. Thanks so much for joining us, and we will see you for our next episode.